Brad, just for tonight, can you explain the draft strategy? Was there somebody that you were targeting at 25 that went off the board and you pivoted, or was trading down the plan the whole time?
It was more about we had a list of guys that we were really comfortable with. The guy that we ended up getting was on that list. And so for us, it was about trying to, when offers came in, to continue to build up our assets and, restock some of those that we've lost over the years. It made some sense. We're excited that we were able to get out tonight with, more picks to be used in any variety of ways, obviously, and then a good player in Jordan.
What has Marcus meant to this franchise, and how difficult was the decision?
Yeah, I mean, really hard. I said this at the start of the summer. I thought that we needed to balance our roster and make sure that we looked at the best ways to do that. And that meant that we were going to likely lose a really, really, really good player. As far as Marcus, as I told him, when he got here, we were 25 and 57 the year before. The greatest legacy that you can leave, right, is to be someplace and it's better off because you were there. And, I think that everybody here feels that way. I think that he will always be appreciated and thought of so fondly here for any number of reasons. Obviously, everybody loved the way that he plays and how hard he plays, but also his work in the community. And, we're all really grateful to have had Marcus in our life for as long as we've had, and are sad to see him go, but know that he's going to have a huge impact on that really good Memphis team. Very difficult conversations, really hard to do, but he'll always have Boston for sure, right? I mean, I think that Boston really appreciates him, and certainly I do, and he knows we'll do anything for him, but it was hard.
Brad, obviously it was reported that there was an original construct of the Porzingis deal. What ended up happening there? And as far as pivoting to another deal, is that something that's already kind of talked about before, or is that something you just kind of have to come up with on the fly there?
I don't think I should go into any other deals. I just would say that you always do your best to know any of your potential options. That's what you kind of work through with any conversations that you have throughout time. And, obviously, again, I'm not going to get into what was reported or anything else we were talking about.
And as far as Malcolm goes with the injury from the playoffs, is he mulling surgery? Is he trying to go a non-surgical route? Has anything been decided on that front?
Yeah, our doctors have and him have been really consistent with he's felt better and better and better, and he's going to continue to do so, and going to be monitored. If they need to go in and do that, and then he can choose to, but he can also choose not to in the way he's feeling. So we're very confident that he'll be on the court and be good. That's that.
You mentioned talking to Marcus about how far the franchise came after he got here. What was that conversation like with him? What kind of things did you guys discuss when you
Adam, you can imagine, it wasn't very long. It was just, your best chance to share your gratitude to him. And, again, I think that because of these things and the sensitivity of these things and how many people talk about them and the wild speculation, when something happens, it's, it's hard to digest, right? And it's hard to process. But He actually came in this morning, and so I got a chance to see him this morning. And it's just you're not going to be around a guy that you really like every day, but you'll always be, you'll always have the relationship that these teammates have, these coaches have, and everybody in the building and everybody in the organization has, that they can, that'll be forever. And then, when you go to a new place, then you build a whole new one and your network doubles. And now there's, that's just kind of the way it works.
And with Kristaps, obviously, to give up a guy like Marcus, this is an important move for you guys in general. What kind of compelled you to make the move, and how do you envision him becoming, an important piece of what you guys are building?
Yeah, I mean, you've heard me talk about our playing big, playing long. Kristaps can play with any combination of our players. He can play with Rob. He can play with Al. He can play as the standalone five. He has just gotten better and better and better. And, you see what he was doing this year. And I thought in the games that we played against him, and the games that I watched with the most intent against other teams, I thought he just had really taken another step too. He was already good, but he just took another step. And he can play defensively the way we want to. He's a deterrent at the rim, and he's a super skilled basketball player. We didn't post a ton this year, but to be able to throw the ball in the post and just shoot over a switch and do it so efficiently and effectively is a big deal, let alone be able to play behind the line, shoot the ball or drive it or those type of things. So he brings a lot to our team. You can envision, as I can envision, kind of some of the lineups we could put out there size-wise right now. Pretty intriguing, and not without dropping any skill at all. So that's a good thing.
Brad, with you guys got a couple first-round picks as part of the deal as well. What's the plan for those as far as using them for now versus try to rebuilding your youth for the future? And what are the bigger priorities for you now for the rest of this offseason with this reconfigured roster now?
Well, we just have to, we want to be in the mix. We want to give ourselves our best chance at being the best team we can. So we'll do everything that we can to do that. Obviously, there are some tools at our dispense and other tools that won't be at our dispense, depending on how it, kind of shakes itself out. One of those first-round picks became a boatload of other things tonight. So you can ask Mike what all those things became, but it just, I think that was part of it, right? You just, whether it's at the trade deadline, whether it's at the summer, whatever, it's good to have those to use as assets in trade discussions and those types of things. And then, obviously the pick we got next year is a valuable pick, and we can, we'll have a couple of options to move those or pick them. One of these days, I'll pick a first-round pick. It might be a while.
How do you envision Derek's role changing now with Marcus gone, and how important was Derek's season and the quality of season he had when you were considering moving your other starting guard?
I think it all kind of works together again. Derek is an outstanding player, and you can see that his comfort level, he felt so much more comfortable this year. But like I said, it's not comparing one against the other or whatever the case. It's just the way that this deal materialized and the way that it gave us an opportunity to balance our roster. As as heart-wrenching as it was to part with Marcus, is something what we felt like we had to do. We're going to need Derek to continue to be great, and we have no doubt that he will. And but we've got a lot of other capable, guards too. Obviously, Peyton, Malcolm, Derek, we've got a lot of good players back there. And so that was, again, last year we had 4 really good players. We couldn't get any time for Peyton, and we just were maybe we were pretty thin as far as up front with if we went into some games with not having guys available. And I will say the guys that we did have on the back lines did an unbelievable job all year. You know, Blake and Luke and Mike when he was here, all those guys.
Brad, we know you make moves to improve the team, but the moves do carry a message. Losing Marcus Smart is a big deal for this core. What message do you think should be taken by the remaining guys after a trade like this?
You know, I don't know if there's I don't really look at it that way. John, I think everybody is going to be, you know, asked to, like they do every summer, continue to improve, grow, develop, and be ready to contribute in the role that they're ultimately asked to play. You know, from our standpoint, we just look at it as what's our best opportunity to continue to grow and improve as a team, knowing that sometimes, you know, really, really hard decisions have to be made. I mean, and like I said, not only adding Kristaps with his skill, his size, and the positional versatility, it's also, you know, we just had many more numbers and options at the smaller positions than we did at the bigs, especially as we look forward too. So, you know, I thought it was good to do, but hard to do.
The Porzingis, he can play in the post. He can play in a lot of the areas you guys didn't really use in your offense last year. After seeing what Denver and Miami did, their ability to play through their bigs, did you feel like you guys needed to shift some of your focus to that area so you could play in kind of easier spots that create easier looks?
I mean, I think I don't know if it always has to be through the post, but I think you in this day and age benefit greatly from having a big that can be the hub at times. Doesn't have to be it all the time, but can be the person that, you know, maybe the offense flows through and you get cutting off of it. You know, obviously the two bigs you're talking about are pretty ridiculous how good they are. So probably, you know, those guys are great at it. But, you know, we've been fortunate enough to play through Rob as a passer. We've been fortunate enough to play through Al a lot with the ball. And Kristaps is another person that can do that.
Brad, obviously Marcus filled a key leadership role here in terms of being vocal, you know, holding guys accountable, stuff like that. How do you quantify giving up, you know, something like that in this situation? How are other guys going to have to step up in that department specifically?
Well, I think that's one of the strengths of our group, are the number of quality people we have and number of quality voices we have. And, you know, I think that the thing that you've seen over time here is JB's voice really grow, Jason's voice start to grow. Al's always been, you know, quiet around everybody else, but in the team setting, you know, very direct and very vocal and a person that everybody leans on. So we have a number of people here that, you know, have been filling that void for a long time with Marcus, and now we'll just have to, everybody just be a little bit better.
And how do you envision Kristaps adding to that dynamic in the locker room? How well do you know him?
I don't know him well enough. I know that he is extremely team-oriented, extremely excited to be here. But he also, like, he understands, like, this is an accomplished team that he's joining and he wants to help. So you can't expect somebody to come in yelling and loud and vocal, and sometimes it's better to come in and just figure out how you can help and add value in the way that you feel most comfortable in your skin, and I'm sure he'll do that.
Hey, Brad, just wondering what you liked about Jordan Walsh, and then how does maybe the new CBA change how you view draft picks and just the restricted salary cap and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the value of second-round picks is obviously not only you not only have a tool that you can use in trades, but also you have the ability now with the second-round exception in the new CBA that to do some things. So he's a good prospect. He's young. You know, we don't expect him to come in and, you know, take the world on fire in the first, you know, couple of months, summer league, first year. He has a special ability laterally and with his wingspan to, like, swallow people up defensively. Like, he really he really creates havoc with his arms and with his energy and with his ability to move his feet. He's a better shooter, and we had him in twice for workouts. He's just getting better and better. And I've always thought his touch looked good, but he looked hesitant at times. And so, I think over time he'll become a really good shooter who has the athleticism to finish and drive closeouts, but will always, he'll be ahead on the defensive end to start.
What was kind of the
He'll get knocked down a few times, though.
what was kind of the focus to revamping the coaching staff, and specifically with Charles and Sam? What do you hope they can add, and how much input did Joe have in the process?
I mean, it's Joe's staff. It's not my staff. We after the year, we obviously had the one front of the bench assistant spot that was open and that Damon had left. And then when Ben chose to leave, we had another one, and to be able to get those two guys here is great, Charles and Sam, and nothing else is officially finalized, so I can't comment on anything else. But there will be some new faces that all bring great energy and are all excited to be here. Charles and Sam have been here for the whole week. So it's been great spending time with them, and be ready to go. Got a good staff.
Brad, I believe Kristaps is eligible for an extension next month. Is this something, I know you can't talk directly, but do you envision him being here long term after this deal?
Well, we hope so. We'll see how that stuff all works itself out. But he's a guy that we think could, certainly be a really good player. He's been a really good player thus far, and only has gotten better. And I think, to me, that's the part that really stands out. Sometimes when you're the fourth pick in the draft and you get all this accolades and all this attention and all these eyes, and you're going through your growth process, there's some ups and downs, but he's at a point where he's starting to, I think, really play and play at the best level I've seen. So we hope so.